In the last episode we made it to Cascais just outside of Lisbon and met up with Gunnar's son Pontus that came to join us for a week of vacation.
Han orkar hålla dig till nästan till 2.
Ja, jag är...
Now we intended to sail up the river into the capital city of Portugal. Marinas in Lisbon are normally very full and we only booked a few days in advance, so we got a spot at one of the most upriver. But it gave the opportunity to see a lot of the city from the waterside, like one of the major attractions, the sculpture of all the famous historical seafarers. And passing the bridge we were reminded that we soon were about to sail into the Orca waters, although I don't think it was the purpose of the paintings. There are some marinas close to the big bridge and we can understand the reviews of them that there is quite a lot of noise from it. But partly we wished we could have stayed less far in, as we started to slow down significantly in the current of the river. After fighting towards it in 2 knots of speed for a very slow last hour and a half, we were finally docked. We made it to Lisbon. And we made it to the marina the furthest up the river. Turns out it's a really nice marina, it's not too pricey and it's a very modern chic area. So I think we're gonna enjoy the stay here. And it's also not at all very far to the center of Lisbon. You could easily tell this area was newly built and a great outdoor place, and we enjoyed the walk. But our Brazilian boat neighbor told us the place to go a Friday night is Barrio Alto, so after waiting a good half an hour for the bus that never came, we took a cab to get there. The whole area were full of tiny bars where people ordered €1 beers or shots and gathered on the streets, like a huge festival area, and we enjoyed the atmosphere a lot. Lisbon is of course not done in one night. It's a city with many areas and hills, and supposedly one of the best ways to see it is to take the tram point to it. It goes through some of the most scenic parts in the city with narrow streets. But a lot of people want to go there for the same reason, and unless you get a seating you won't really see much, so at the scenic square we jumped off.
Den som vann den segern vann amerikanska och amerikanerna var alltså på väg att förlora det första gången på över 100 år.
I think it's like one of the best capital cities I've ever been to. So we definitely enjoyed our stay here. Tomorrow we are gonna leave Lisbon really early because of the tidal waters. It's the almost full moon, and meaning the coefficient is high and then the currents are strong, and we really underestimated the currents while we were going here because there was no currents in the chart, so we didn't think they would be that strong. But we ended up doing like 2 knots last part of the tour, and we definitely want to avoid that when we are living here. So it's going to be a morning around 5:30 to catch the last part when the high tide is going out. So probably an early night as well. Leaving Lisbon, we were heading for Lagos, but wanted to make a few stops along the way to just relax. We're having a gin and tonic sundae, and I found from I don't know, 2 years ago, my gin and tonic ball.
Next day we were on our way along the long sandy shores again, before we reached Sines, the hometown of Vasco da Gama, one of the most famous old Portuguese seafarers. He was the first European to sail to India, and he went there not once but 3 times. Well worth a proud statue. After another long day at sea with lots of waves, we finally rounded the dramatic rocks at the southwest corner of Portugal, and the water turned comfortably flat almost immediately. As we approached Lagos, there were lots of cool rock formations in the water, and for the first time in months it was tour boats everywhere. We could instantly feel we were in a new and more touristy part of Portugal. This also meant it was good communications, so we said goodbye to Pontus as he was flying back home. And ta-da! Our friend Johan arrived.
Hur annars skulle det se ut?
On the actual webpage, like I was on the land.
We got a tip from one of you to use a jiggle siphon when filling up the diesel, and yesterday we managed to get one in the store here in Lagos. So we're gonna try it for the first time now.
We had never heard of this simple thing before, so big thanks.
Den bygger ju på fallhöjd så att annars hade den ju inte... Okay, we're ready to try the jiggle siphon. Okay, start. That's the flow. Works excellent.
We're getting ready to leave the marina here in Lagos, and Johan has joined us again, which is super fun. We're looking so much forward to it. So we're just gonna untie the lines and call the VHF to have the bridge open, and we're off. How do you feel about being on the boat again?
It's really nice.
It's warm this year too.
Absolutely. Even warmer than last year.
The entrance and exit from Lagos was a beautiful short canal. Perfect conditions for a first sail for Johan, and only a short distance planned since most of the crew really longed for a swim, even though the water was still too cold in my opinion.
So you wish for something more? You wish for beer, I heard.
No. We should be very clear here. We were discussing what you could wish for, and that is not the same as what you wish for.
We anchored today in a super cool bay with a lot of awesome rock formations. So we're gonna take the dinghy and go there and drive around a little bit.
We thought of also seeing the beach, but we were not allowed there, so instead we went back to Tilda where the others dared me to have a swim. For those of you who don't know me that well, I'm not a big fan of swimming unless the water is really warm and crystal clear. But I gave in for the challenge.
Jag tar ett steg först. Och så måste jag se att det kommer en fågelflöde. Nej men det är ganska kallt.
Det är jätteskönt ska jag säga.
Jag tror att det kanske är skönt att vara i.
Ja.
Nej.
Kom igen nu.
Kom igen nu.
Kom igen nu, du kan.
Det är dags nu. Släpp taget, kasta det ut.
Slappna av.
Alltså vilka kraftfulla simtag hon tar.
Ja men det är ganska gött nu. Det är gött att komma upp.
A shorty.
Nu kommer det! Man har kommit i det ganska skönt. Kolla han höll på att ta mig.
Hur var det där då, Jeanette?
Det var ungefär så länge jag kunde simma och hålla andan.
And seconds later I got my proof of swimming is dangerous.
It's like a meter big.
I don't really know if this one stings, but being over 1 meter, I for sure would not want to touch it. I hope you liked this episode, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to join us as we continue.